Hey guys, today I'm gonna tell you the story of how I got to Google. Although I grew up in New York, I also grew up in public housing. It's easy to leave and come back 10 years later and find the same people roaming the same streets, doing the same thing. Although I was surrounded by broken dreams, I had just a little gut feeling that I wasn't meant to stay there forever. I remember working at a jewelry store about 4 or 5 years ago, and the owner, Gary, asked about my GPA. He was slightly unimpressed. I started hanging out with members of an organization called Alpha, and they told me about something called the Alpha Convention, which happened during the summertime. The registration fee was about $500, but they all looked pretty successful themselves, so I figured they were doing something right. So I considered it an investment in myself and purchased the ticket, put it on my credit card, and I was blown away. There were Latinos from all over the country, mostly students looking for jobs and internships and companies looking for talent, but also professionals looking for new opportunities. I didn't walk away from the convention with a job or internship offer, but I think I left with something so much better. I made new connections, I had a ton of fun, and I walked away feeling more motivated than ever. In the fall semester, I continued to hang out and study with the Alpha Baruch members, and they taught me a ton about networking, how to increase my GPA, and how to realize what's possible. It was at this point that I thought to myself, if I'm gonna be in corporate America, I want to be at the best company, and at that time, it was Google. And that's when it became my dream company. It was around this time that I also started learning about the formula for someone like myself. One of the career counselors at Baruch told me about yet another organization called T. Howard. So I applied, I waited, and I got accepted. A little bit later, I found out from the program manager that the career counselor asked her to please give me a chance. And I'm honestly so glad she did, because T. Howard was the organization that really helped me get my first 2 official marketing internships. The first one was at Gray Group, an advertising agency, and then the second one was at Viacom. So while I was doing all of those marketing internships, the Alpha Baruch members told me about yet another organization called MLT, Management Leadership for Tomorrow. Again, I applied, I waited, and this time I was put on a waiting list. So I emailed them and I told them about all of the things I was doing with T. Howard to prepare for my internships and leadership, networking, and all of these great things, which would be super helpful for me in MLT. A day or so later, they responded asking for updated resume and updated transcripts, and they told me I was in. My first coach call, I told my coach that my goal was to get to Google. And she told me, you know, it's great that you have a goal, stay open as well. And I did. For the second seminar, the Internship and Analytical Skills seminar, I had the chance to interview for 4 different tech companies, and one of them was my dream company. Little did I know while I was interviewing, I was about to get rejected from each and every single one of them. My poor little heart. I eventually did find an internship for the summer. It was with JP Chase back in New York City, and that I actually got through someone I met at the Alpha Convention. So it all came full circle. But after the internship, I knew that I didn't want to be at a bank full time, no matter how many banker friends I had. For the 4th seminar, the one that prepares us for the interviews for full time and just generally having a full-time job, I got the chance to interview for Google again. And this time I decided I was gonna go all in. I asked 9 different people to help me prepare for this interview, from previous Google interns to friends to people I found on LinkedIn. I dug super deep inside of myself to find my story. Who am I truly at my core, and how does that connect to Google? What are the skills I picked up at my previous internships that could really be valuable to the company? Luckily, I had an amazing interviewer. She is still a mentor of mine till this day. I felt really comfortable just telling her my story, telling her who I am and what I bring to the table. From there, I had 3 other interviews, plus an assignment, plus more and more calls with the recruiter. I was anxious to the max. One day I got a phone call and it was the recruiter at Google, and she told me I got an offer, and I was like gonna die right there. Yes, it had a lot to do with the people that helped me along the way. It had a lot to do with being given a chance. But I think what really fueled the fire was persistence. Because I could have learned about all of these organizations and done nothing with it, but being rejected and then giving it another chance and not giving up was what helped me actually do it. So Google was my dream, and persistence is what helped me get there. But I'm really curious, what is your dream? Who is it that you want to become? So please comment below and tell me. And that's it. I was off to San Francisco. Thanks for watching.